All right, so we finally got the last piece that we needed to complete our Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando look that we've all been going for ever since the Viper Commandos warbond came out. And that is none other than the quad rocket launcher, aka the MLS-4X Commando. Welcome back to another episode of Deep Dive, where we're going deep on everything Helldivers 2. So the Commando is a quad expendable rocket launcher that we just got into Helldivers 2, and it directly compares to the expendable anti-tank rocket launcher that we've already had, aka the EATS. Now the EATS is a very popular weapon in the game. A lot of people like it for its quick cooldown and the fact that it is so freaking strong against many of the elite enemies in the game. The Commando has already taken the community by storm, and a lot of people are saying that it is the EATs on steroids. And is this true, or is this weapon gonna live in the shadows of the already popular EATs? Let's find out in this episode of Deep Dive, and let's go over everything you need to know about the MLS-4X Commando. The tooltip reads: an expendable missile launcher equipped with 4 laser-guided missiles. So the stat breakdown for the MLS-4X Commando is the call-in timer is 7 seconds or 3 seconds with the ship upgrade. The cooldown is 120 seconds or 108 seconds with the first ship upgrade, or 102.6 seconds with the second ship upgrade. The uses are unlimited. The damage is 450 per rocket, and the durable damage per rocket is 450 as well. And the ammo capacity is 4 total rockets. The uses are expendable, so once you use this thing, you gotta throw it to the side and call in another one when the timer comes down. It's laser guided as described in the tooltip. And the armor pen is heavy armor penetration level 2. So the ship upgrades that affect the Commando are streamlined request process. This decreases support weapon stratagem cooldown by 10%. So this takes the cooldown from 120 seconds to 108 seconds. The next one is morale augmentation, which further reduces the cooldown for all stratagems by 5%. So this further reduces the cooldown for the Commando from 108 seconds to 102.6 seconds, which the game rounds it up to 103 seconds. The last one is streamlined launch process, and this basically allows all support weapons to launch immediately once called in, reducing the overall deployment time. So this basically takes away the 4-second delay timer that you normally get when you call something in. So typically it takes about 7 seconds for the Commando to come in because of this delay timer of 4 seconds, but the organic call in for the Commando is 3 seconds. So what this upgrade does is it removes that 4 seconds, and now the Commando will come in 3 full seconds. Unfortunately, the complex stratagem debuff that we get on some planets does still increase the overall time for the Commando to come in by 50%. So jumping into the general overview for the MLS-4X Commando, the Commando is exactly what you saw in those Commando movies so long ago. It is a quad rocket launcher, and it provides some serious righteous judgment to the enemies in the game. So the biggest selling point of this launcher, outside of the quad feed of it, is the fact that it has laser guiding, which is actually pretty well designed in this game because it feels very responsive to your movements, which is really awesome in my opinion. Thankfully, this laser guiding ability can be turned off if you want to use it as a normal launcher as well. The distance at which these rockets can travel feels endless, and pair that with the laser guiding, you're not only going to be shooting these things very far away, but you're going to be able to guide these things with a high degree of accuracy toward whatever target you're shooting at. So the damage of 450 is on the lower end when you compare it to other rockets in the game, but you are getting 4 of these, so you're going to be doing a total of 1800 damage if you were to hit one target with all 4 rockets. The other big selling point is the fact that it has a much lower cooldown when compared to other support weapons in the game at 1 minute and 40 seconds with the ship upgrades. And that means you're going to be calling this in quite often. So according to helldiverswiki.gg, this launcher has heavy armor penetration level 2, which allows it to penetrate literally anything in the game. And this damage does vary based on the target and the weak spots and the armored areas it has and various things like that. But just take it at face value that this thing at heavy armor penetration level 2 is going to be penetrating the majority of things in the game. The other big thing of note here that we're going to elaborate on in just a minute is the fact that this launcher does have the capability of taking out many objectives in the game, like fabricators, bug holes, shrieker nests, spore towers, legal broadcast, and so on and so forth. And we're going to get more into how effective it is against those in just a moment. So in this next section, I wanted to actually break down the Commando versus the EATs, because there's a lot of misnomers in the community already crowning the Commando as the far superior option. But when you actually look at both side by side and look at their overall things they can do and their effectiveness overall, you're gonna see that they both have different strengths and weaknesses when compared to each other. So let's break down each one side by side. So taking a look at the EAT and the Commando side by side, the EAT actually beats the Commando in overall call-on time at 6 seconds versus 7 seconds. The EAT also beats the Commando in overall cooldown at 70 seconds versus 120 seconds. Also, the EAT wins in single rocket damage at 650 versus 450. However, if you take the overall damage, you get 2 shots with the EATs, which equals to 1300 damage, and the Commando gets 4 shots, which equals to the 1800 damage. The Commando does win in overall more uses because they have 4 rockets versus the 2 you get from the EAT. The one thing that they both uniquely share is that they both have heavy armor penetration level 2, and I wanted to break down how effective they are against each enemy type in the elite category. So both the EAT and the Commando can 2-shot tanks, as well as the cannon towers and the turret towers that you'll see on the bot side. So against dropships, the Commando takes 2 shots to take them out, whereas the EAT only requires 1 shot. Both the EAT and the Commando take out gunships in 1 rocket, and against factory straters, both of them can take out the little miniguns under the factory strater's face in 1 rocket, and the top gun in 2 rockets. Against Hulks, the Commando takes 1 shot to the eye, or 2 shots to the heatsink, or 3 shots to the body to kill them. The EAT takes 1 shot to the eye, or 2 shots to the body and heatsinks to kill it. Both the Commando and the EAT have the potential, and I say that very strongly, the potential to 2-shot Bile Titans when you hit them in the head. However, in my experience with both of them, they do take more than 2 rockets to actually kill them consistently. Against the open, exposed sides of the Bile Titans on their back or anything like that, it'll take 2 rockets to kill them with both these options as well. Against the Behemoth Chargers, it takes 2 EATs to kill those, whereas it takes 3 to kill it with the Commando. And against the non-Behemoth Chargers, it takes 1 EAT to kill those, whereas it takes 2 rockets to kill it with the Commando. For objectives, the Commando does have the ability to take out fabricators from any angle, so you can shoot it from the back, the side, it doesn't matter. You can just kill it from any angle, which is super nice. Whereas the EAT does require you to shoot it in the vent to be able to kill it. Both have the ability to 1-shot bug holes, anti-air, mortar encampments, and illegal broadcasts. The Commando takes 3 shots to take out Shrieker nests, spore towers, whereas the EAT takes 2 shots to take out both of these. One subjective thing that I really enjoy about the Commando versus the EAT is the fact that the Commando, when you first get it, is available to use right away. It doesn't require any setup or anything like that. Whereas the EAT, when you first get it, you need to extend it and actually get it ready to use, which is quite annoying at times because I just want to start shooting when it comes in most times. That was a long list of comparisons, but you can see just by those that it's not quite as cut and dry. While the Commando does have slightly more utility in my opinion, the EAT does slightly win in overall power and efficiency. Yes, you can argue that the 4 rockets equals more power compared to the 2 rockets you get from an EAT, but in general, being able to take out a charger in 1 shot and be able to be pretty effective against Bile Titans, it just feels like you're doing more damage overall with the EATs, but they're just effective in different ways. So now that you have the information, you can really decide what you want to do here. You can either run one or the other, or you can run both because that's an option as well, but you're not really going to go wrong either way you look at it, to be honest. And that's the biggest thing I wanted to dispel, is the fact that the EAT is just obsolete now that the Commando is out, because that's not true at all. So jumping into some gameplay and some more detailed elite testing for the Commando, it performs pretty much how you would expect against any light armored and medium armored unit. It's going to take them out really quickly. However, the thing to keep in mind is that this thing was not designed for that, because the blast radius is pretty small, so you're not going to be taking out large numbers of these types of enemies. But again, just for saying it, you can take these out pretty quickly. So starting off on the Terminate side, against the Chargers, more specifically the Behemoth Chargers, just again, like I said, it's going to take about 3 rockets to the face to kill these, and probably about 2 to 3 rockets to the legs just to open them up so that way you can shoot them with other guns. And against the normal Chargers, it's going to take about 2 shots to the face, maybe 3 if you get unlucky, and it's going to take about 2 shots to the leg to open up that area for you to be able to shoot the leg area. So against Bile Titans, it's quite a bit of a different story, because the Commando, when you were shooting them in the face, felt really inconsistent, taking as little as 2 shots in very rare cases to kill them, and taking upwards of 6 and even more shots in some other cases to kill them, which was very frustrating in my opinion. So again, I've had one instance where I've killed a Bile Titan, a fresh Bile Titan, in 2 rockets, and I felt like it was a little bit of luck in my opinion, but typically it's going to take all 4 rockets most times to kill them consistently. Now, in my overall experience, since there's a lot of things that can happen in a match, you're probably going to take 4 rockets plus something else to kill the Bile Titans, or maybe 4 rockets plus another commando to kill a Bile Titan. Just to showcase it here, I spoke about this a minute ago, but it does take 3 full rockets to be able to take out any Spore Tower or Shrieker Nest on the map. And one thing you can do with this thing, but I think it's actually a complete waste in my opinion, is you can destroy bug holes with this, and you don't have to be so accurate. You just have to get in the general area and it will destroy the bug hole. But I think it's a waste. You should just use grenade pistols or something else to be able to destroy these. For me, the commando performs best against the automatons because against gunships, it can take them out in one shot, which is super nice. And unlike the EAT, you can actually laser guide these things around and actually hit them with a high degree of accuracy. The one thing I don't like and I don't quite understand about the commando, it feels like it's just short of this damage range, is the fact that it takes 2 hits to the engine to take out the dropships, which is super frustrating in my opinion. So showcasing it here against tanks, you can hit them from any angle on the vents or on the front, and it will take them out in 2 rockets. And same thing for the cannon towers or the little turret towers. You can take them out in 2 rockets from any angle. So against the factory striders, the commando absolutely shines here because not only can you take out all of its weapons in 1 full commando, you can actually take out the factory strider altogether in 1 full commando, because if you get underneath it and shoot its belly in 4 rockets, the thing will die. It's actually really effective. The number one thing I love about the commando against the bots is the fact that it can take out the fabricators from any distance because it can kill them at any angle. So you could be way across the map. You see a fabricator, you shoot this thing, and as long as you're patient and guide it correctly, you can take these things out from a mile away, which is absolutely awesome. I had a couple of occasions where I was at evac and I noticed that, oh, we didn't finish off some camps over there. Let me see if I can see them. I saw them, shot the rocket, got the angle right, boom, I destroyed it from the evac area. It was really, really cool in my opinion. So one additional thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to give you some loadout suggestions for the commando, because while I think it is very versatile and can work with pretty much any build in the game, I found some particular ones that I felt like were the best use cases for it. So against the bots, I particularly enjoyed using the ballistic shield and the pummeler build that I usually run, because I was able to throw the commando on and I felt like it was the right support weapon for that particular build because it was a lot of fun. I was able to take out fabricators from very far away, as well as I was able to have a good support weapon to be able to take on a lot of the elites in the game, and they were able to stack very easily. Also against the bots, I really enjoyed this on blitz missions because, again, you could take out fabricators from very far away, so it was easy to be able to get these blitz missions done very quickly. So against the bugs, I felt like the commando pretty much worked with any build you wanted. If you wanted to run another support weapon and have the commando as a backup to be able to take on elites, you can do it. I also had a build where I ran the laser dog backpack and had the commando to be able to take out elites and the laser focus on enemies. Worked really well. So I mean, it's pretty versatile when you're fighting the bugs. Lastly, I really enjoyed pairing the commando with the EATs, but more specifically, I enjoyed pairing it with the EATs and the 2 mortar combo on the big defense missions. And I mean, holy crap, you can get so many expendable rockets on the map to be able to take out any of the elite enemies that come onto the map. It's extremely effective. I found that there were, I feel like, hundreds of these things everywhere. By the time I was able to fight an elite enemy, it was pretty crazy in my opinion. The commando is not perfect, and I do have some negatives for the weapon. And the first negative being is that the cooldown does feel a bit long. I do believe that the cooldown at 1 minute and 43 seconds with the ship upgrades is a bit too long. I would love that to be brought down to around 70 seconds or so, or 1 minute and 10 seconds, because I think it would still be a little bit longer than the EATs, but it doesn't feel like it has to be so punishing, because there were several times where I would have to expend my full commando to take out an elite, and then if this was my only support weapon I brought into the game, I felt pretty vulnerable in that moment. And that's why I was saying it doesn't work with every single build in the game, but it works with the majority of them, because when you have to expend this thing in a single moment and you have to wait another minute and 40 seconds, it feels very annoying and kind of punishing in my opinion. The only other negative, and it's not really a negative, it's more of a wish for the Arrowhead team, is that I wish they would allow us to be able to have a full auto option, to be able to full auto all 4 rockets at something, because it does shoot quickly, that's fine, but it'd be nice to do 1 click and just all 4 rockets shoot. Just would be a good little quality of life thing for the commando. So what are my final rankings and overall thoughts on the MLS-4X Commando? So for overall effectiveness and performance, this thing is just really good. I mean, It's absolutely fantastic. Yes, it has some drawbacks with its cooldown like I complained about just a second ago, but this thing is literally just one of the most versatile weapons in the game. It can take out any objective, it can really do a ton of damage against any elite in the game, and on top of that, it's just badass and a lot of fun to use. I just really love using this thing. For its overall fun factor, this thing is just very fun. Again, like I said, you can buy into that theme where you're going full commando like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movies, and overall, I just love using this on the big defense missions, the blitz missions, and just in general, I love just making elites go away very quickly. It's just a really fun weapon to use. So my overall final ranking for the MLS-4X Commando is a solid S tier. This thing is not only a ton of fun to use, but it's really powerful overall and does offer a lot of versatility and utility to your builds that you wouldn't normally get from other support weapon stratagems. So it's an absolute fantastic option and you should be running it quite frequently in any of your builds. So that's everything you need to know on the MLS-4X Commando. What do you guys think down in the comments below? Is this something you're running more often? What's your favorite build for this rocket launcher more specifically? Do you have some kooky builds that nobody's ever tried before? Let us know down in the comments below so that way we can try them out. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.